DJ is going to be the guy that everyone talks about and targets first and foremost. So, man, how do you separate? And we talked about it before we started to record, him getting rattled, him not looking the part, and versus offensive line issues and him just constantly, almost every time he dropped back to pass, running for his life or not even having a chance to run half the time because, man, there were guys right in his face instantly. It was tough to watch.
Yeah, it was hard to watch. I have not seen that kind of offensive football from Clemson since 2014 when Deshaun Watson was hurt and Cole Stout was running the offense and Chad Morris refused to design his offense to fit Cole Stout's strengths and kept trying to fit square pegs into round holes. That's the last time I saw Clemson football with an offense as inept as we saw Saturday night. It was bad, and I would have never. I knew it was gonna be low scored, and they were gonna struggle. I knew they'd struggle to run the ball, but if you'd have told me they weren't gonna even hit the end zone, I'd have never believed it. If you'd have told me that DJ was going to look like a freshman, let's say, I'd have never believed it. You know, so there were some surprises, no doubt. I just never would have guessed in a million years Clemson's offense would struggle that mightily. Even though I knew going in there were some questions about the offensive line. You know, Clemson's always got an elite quarterback play to mask some of those deficiencies on the offensive line, and they did not get that Saturday night.
So we had a no-score game forever, and then Georgia gets the pick six. And so we have a one-score game the entire game. And I understand Clemson can't run the ball, but still, they only tried it to their running backs 9 times. They threw it 37. And so they threw it 37, and DJ got sacked 7 times, and he probably tried to run it a handful of times. They probably called at least 45 to 50 drop-back passes versus running the ball to the backs 9 times in a one-score game.
Yeah, the play calling was definitely a little head-scratching. There is no doubt about that. How do you slow down a pass rush? You got to at least try to make them respect your running game. And Clemson never even made an effort to really establish it. Kobe Pace got 4 carries. Will Shipley got 4 carries. Lynn J. Dixon didn't get a carry to the fourth quarter, which he was held out due to disciplinary issues. I'm not even sure we'd have seen him if Pace didn't get hurt. But still, 8 carries to your running backs. I mean, those 2 guys that played most of the game, that's not the recipe for success. Even if you can't run the ball, you've got to do something to try to slow down that pass rush. Wide receiver screens, get DJ out on some rollouts, move the pocket, because he was a sitting duck back there. He had no time to do anything. And the few times he did have a second or two, he was rattled. He didn't look like he could process things properly. He looked confused most of the night. And it was just a struggle. And Clips, Tony Elliott and Dabo Swinney have both said since the game that they have definitely got to do a better job when it comes to making sure they're running the ball more. But biggest game of the season, best defense you're going to face. You had all offseason to prepare, and you handed it off 9 times. I mean, and you got a quarterback that's 250 pounds. You get the ball inside the 10-yard line finally. 3 straight passes. You don't even try to run him. I don't know. The play calling definitely left a lot to be desired.
We got Jason Priester on the line from All Clemson on the SI platform, so check out his work. You can see it right there, allclemson.com. SI, Jason Priester joins us on a regular basis to break down Clemson football. Rarely has to break down a loss in the regular season, but, it happens once in a while. We talked about it before we started to record. I made the assumption that DJ wasn't going to lose this game, and I'm not putting it on him either by any stretch, but I made the assumption too. Came in against Boston College in the game that Trevor Lawrence missed because of COVID, was down. You put a a first-time starter in a situation where he's down 28-6 in that game, and he brings him back for the win. Then you see him go to South Bend against Notre Dame and put up 40 points and over 400 yards. You just figure, oh, he's good to go. He's shown us enough that he's going to be able to respond in big games. And again, that pass rush was devastating, but he did look like he was rattled.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, I think Clemson fans have gotten spoiled to the point where, you know, we went from Deshaun Watson to Trevor Lawrence. The transition was smooth, seamless. So we expect the same thing this time. And turns out that was not the case at all. No matter what we saw in South Bend, no matter what we saw in that 18-point comeback against Boston College, DJ definitely looked like a deer in headlights out there at times. And you know, I'm not saying it's all on him, because it's certainly not. I don't think he was put in the best situations to be successful. His offensive line didn't give him any help. And you can't win all by yourself. Even the interception that he threw, that was on Justin Ross, not him. You know, you got to get inside coverage on that route when you're running that route, and he didn't. And the guy picked it off and returned it. But the thing that I was most disappointed in, I kept waiting to see that spark from DJ, that him flip that switch, you know, maybe get mad, show some emotion, show some fire, something. And we just never saw it. It looked like the offense was trying to do the same thing over and over and over. There was no adjustments made. It was drop back, try to throw the ball, drop back, try to throw the ball. And the definition of insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And that's the feeling I got watching that game the other night. They were trying to do the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. Like I said a minute ago, that the offense is predicated on getting elite quarterback play. They've had that elite quarterback play most of the time throughout the years with Dabo Swinney and Tony Elliott. And they didn't get that the other night, and there was no fallback plan. There was no other option without that elite quarterback play. They didn't have a chance.